guys, what's up? My name is Crystal, and this is the home for Intelligent Black Media. So today we're going to be talking about Black entrepreneurship with a focus on Black entrepreneurs working with other Black entrepreneurs and Black people in general. And we're also going to talk about the unfair expectations which are often placed on Black entrepreneurs by other Black people within the Black community. So let's talk about community building. Now, community building is a hot topic within the Black community. We're always hearing discussions about supporting Black businesses, building Black businesses, and just the revitalization of the Black community in general. Now, a big component of community building is Black entrepreneurship. And that's because it stimulates economy, it creates new jobs, it creates generational wealth within the Black family, legacy, and it also creates and promotes new products and services which are not only beneficial to the Black community, but other communities in general. So let's talk about the problems which exist with Black entrepreneurship. And what I'm going to discuss today are things that you don't really hear people talking about, but it's important that we talk about them. And I want to talk about them with the hope that it will create dialogue, promote awareness, and also promote change. So, and before I start, I know that we're not a monolith. Not every Black entrepreneur has had the same issues, but I do believe that on some level we can resonate with the things that I'm about to talk about. So I'm going to share a couple experiences with you from things that I've experienced as a Black entrepreneur, and then just some things that I've seen occurring within the Black community in general. So let's go back to a time period when I created this nonprofit, and the name of it was Gen Revamp. And so Gen Revamp, this isn't a company that I'm operating today. I created something else which grew out of that. But yeah, so this was like my first baby. This was the first company that I ever created, and the name of it was Gen Revamp, and it was a nonprofit. So in the early days of Gen Revamp, when I was initially looking for board members, I consulted with this woman that I knew. She was a director at this company. And, I met with her one day and I was like, do you know anyone who may be interested in being a board member? And she was like, yeah, I know this lady. And she's very heavily active within the Black community. And I will run your information past her to see if she's interested. And I was like, okay, yeah, give her like a brief summary of the organization. Tell her, let her know that it's a board member position. And if she's interested, I'll be happy to talk to her. So she connected with the lady. And she was on board. She was excited to hear more about my company, me, and this position, this board member position. So, I called her and we hit it off immediately. And, I'm telling her about the company. I told her about me, why I created the company. And, she's excited, she's like, oh, yeah, this is beautiful to see a young Black woman out here trying to make a difference within the Black community. All the usual jargon, rah, rah, rah. We got to do it for our people, we got to get out there and bring our, just really bring the community back together. So I was like, yeah, okay, all right. She was talking good, that rah, rah stuff. So then we get to the board member position itself, right? We get there, and all of a sudden, after I've talked about all this stuff about advocacy, how I wanted to work in the community and really address like different issues, all of a sudden, when we get to the board member position itself, we start talking about this. she throws me. I mean, when I tell you that she threw me for a loop, she threw me for a loop. All of a sudden, she says, yeah, I can really see you blowing up and being in the limelight. And when she said that, I kind of thought to myself, and I was like, okay, what does any of this have to do with advocacy and what I just got through talking about? I was talking about advocacy, community work, working within the community, and she's talking about limelight. I'm like, okay. And then she says, well, I wouldn't feel comfortable giving you like ideas for like your nonprofit, and then you shoot off into the stars, and then I'm still just a board member. And I remember I was thinking to myself, like, what are we talking about? Like, what did we just spend the last 15 minutes talking about? How did we get here? And where, like, you came to interview for a volunteer position for a nonprofit, non-paid thinking like this? And I was like, I just cut the conversation short. I was like, ma'am, we're not in alignment. And that was pretty much it. The conversation ended. And so I immediately called the lady who referred her to me. And I told her what happened. And she, she was apologizing. She was shocked. And she was like, I didn't know she get down like that. And I was like, yeah, that's how she gets down. This is how she gets down. And so, she just kept apologizing. I was like, it's no need to apologize. It wasn't you. But I was like, under the circumstances, I would never refer her to anyone else under the same circumstances because she's an enemy to Black people. And I meant that when I said it because she had a crabs in a barrel mentality. She was someone who did not want to see another Black person propel ahead of her. She was someone that if she saw that that was the trajectory that they were on, she was going to kick them somehow so that she could get to the finish line before they did. And during this period, when I first created this organization, I saw a lot of that with Black people. And it was during this period because when you're a creative and you're in the beginning phases of starting something, this is a very vulnerable time because you get to that stage where you have to begin sharing your idea and enlisting people to help you. And this is where the predators are. This is where people prey on creatives because they're listening for those ideas that they can take and run with and take them for themselves. And they capitalize and they try to make it across that goal line before you do. And I hate to say it, but I've met a lot of Black men and women who had that attitude, crabs in a barrel. And I still meet these people today, crabs in a barrel. They don't want to see you. If they can't get it, they don't want to see you have it. And if they think that there's a chance that they can have it, they want to get there before you get there. There's a lot of that in the Black community. Something else that I saw a lot of were Black people that had no conflict resolution skills at all. There were times where I was working on events with other people, and I saw Black people who were in charge who were very quick to want to belittle, attack, and devour other Black people whenever any types of conflict arose. And it was to the point where I actually had to pull some black people to the side and say, this is not how we deal with other people. This is not how we deal with black people. If we're talking about community building, we can't annihilate the people that we're supposed to be building with. Whenever we have conflict, we have to be able to resolve conflict without feeling the need to devour. These are the same people that we're supposed to be community building. Remember, this is what we're here for. And I saw a lot of that. And it got to the point, I have to be honest, it got to the point where it was embarrassing, because I did not want it to reflect upon my brand, because these were the people that I was working with for different like projects, and it was embarrassing. And I had to pull these people to the side, and I had to really let them know, this is not how we do things. This is not. And it was very shocking to me to see these black people operating like this, because many of these people have been in the game longer than I had. Like, I was new. I was new. This was completely new to me. But these people had been in the game longer than I was. So it was very eye-opening for me to see who they truly were behind the scenes, and not the polished front that they would present to the world or to the community. Behind the scenes, it was something else. And I was, I used to find myself just like thinking like, and these are the people who are supposedly leading our communities, and these are the people who are supposed to be the organizers and the movers, and they don't even have conflict resolution skills. I saw a lot of that. And something else I want to talk about outside of like my experiences. With my experiences, I've seen a lot now, but those two things in general, I would have to say that till this day, I see that a lot. That's what I run across a lot, is the crabs in the barrel mentality. Black people who do not want to see other black people achieve anything ahead of them. And the conflict resolution. Those two issues are high on are high on the list. Now, something else I wanted to talk about, and it doesn't come from my life, but it's something that I've observed, and then I thought it was interesting that it came up in this documentary, but it went over people's heads because of everything else that was being presented within this documentary. But the Diddy documentary, which appeared on Netflix, the storylines which spoke about Diddy not paying for Biggie's funeral, and not giving the young lady who needed money for like a child custody issue, I think it was, if I remember that correctly. Now, these are very real issues, right? These are very real issues to everyone that was involved in that, right? But this is the part of the video where I want to speak about unfair expectations being placed upon Black entrepreneurs. And unless it's like contractual and in, I guess, like whatever agreement that you sign, why are we expecting our employers to help us out with personal issues? And I want you to really think about this. In what world have any of us, and I'm speaking of Black people, gone to our white employers or our Asian employers or Mexican employers or whomever, and thought that it was okay to ask them for money if we had a personal issue or whatever was going on in our lives, that we thought that they could just take care of those things? Why do we think that that's okay to do that? Why do we think that's okay to do those things to a Black person, but we wouldn't dare do those. We wouldn't dare place those same expectations upon a Mark Zuckerberg if we were working for Facebook. We wouldn't dare place those same expectations upon a Jeff Bezos if we were working for Amazon, or a Elon Musk if we were working for Tesla. So why would we think that it was okay to place those expectations upon a black man just because he was a man of means? And I'm talking about Diddy in this instance, and I'm referencing this storyline. I'm not referencing everything else that was going on as far as the allegations of abuse and all of that. I'm referencing just this particular storyline because I thought that was very interesting, because this goes on a lot in the black community, where we will shackle black people that we think have money, or black people that own businesses, to a standard that we would never place upon anyone else. I've never had a job where I felt that I could go to my employer and expect them to give me money for personal issues. And then somehow feel like I've never had that. I get in the comments section if any of you have ever had that. Have you had an employer where you could just go and ask for personal favors? Or, I mean, am I the only one? See, these are things that we do to black people when they are a black person of means, or they have like businesses, and we just assume that they're in position to do these things, and maybe they are, but why are we committing black people to things outside of the employer-employee contractual agreement? Why are we doing that? What makes you think that it's okay to just think that it's okay that a black person should be obligated somehow to be taking care of these things, or loaning you money just because you're in need? Why is that okay? And I brought that storyline up because I see this a lot in the black community. I see black people that have been chained to these types of expectations. And for me, I look at it as a spiritual stronghold that needs to be broken. I don't know where this comes from within our community. I don't know where this originates from, but it's a stronghold. It's a chain that needs to be broken. Those aren't the responsibilities of black entrepreneurs. If you're operating a business, and if you think that it's okay, and I'm speaking of black entrepreneurs right now, black business owners, if you want to create some type of emergency fund for your employees, or within their benefits package, create some type of incentive program where that they could pay into, and they can withdraw money if they have some type of emergency fund, that's great. But if you think it's okay that you operate a business where people can just come to you and ask you for money every time that they have a personal issue, it won't be long before your business is turned into a charity of some sort. And you're going to be losing money because you're going to always be in your pocket paying for somebody's funeral, paying for somebody's car because it got repoed, somebody's mortgage, something went on with somebody's son, their father, their mother, so-and-so's having a surgery, they don't have no insurance. It's always going to be something. It's going to be a revolving door. So with that storyline, as harsh as it may sound, when Diddy gave that hard no to those people, he was right to do so. Why are we placing these types of expectations on black people? And, for whatever reason, when you mention this man's name, people just automatically think that you're trying to support him in some type of way. But no, I'm speaking about this particular storyline and how it relates to the narrative and what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about Black entrepreneurs and the unfair expectations that we sometimes place upon them. And this was just, that particular storyline was a red flag for me because I see this a lot within the Black community. Black people being chained and confined to expectations that we would never place other groups of people under. None of you, I beg to differ, none of you would somehow think that it was Mark Zuckerberg's responsibility to pay for one of your family members' funeral because they worked at Facebook and they were the reason for whatever product being successful or whatever it was, you know. You wouldn't place those expectations on him. You wouldn't do it, but you would do it to Black people. And I think that that's something that needs to stop. There has to be a line that's drawn, you know. I don't think that's right. It's a spiritual stronghold that I feel that needs to be broken. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why Black people think it's okay to do this to other Black people of means or Black people that have money, but it's not okay. It's not okay at all. So with that, you know, I want to really end it here. I think that if you're a Black entrepreneur and you have gone through some of the things that I've spoken about, or you can even resonate with some of those issues, even if you haven't gone through them, I just think that it's important just to try to surround yourself with like-minded Black people who don't do those things, who don't think like that. And if you can't find those type Black people, don't feel bad when you have to work with other groups of people, because the truth is that the Black community in many ways is not in alignment with true community building. So if you find yourself having to work with other groups of people, don't feel bad. You know, don't feel bad, because that's where I'm at in my life. You know, I would love to be able to work with Black people on many of the things that I want to do. But if I find that I can't, because of many of the reasons that I've mentioned here today and just some of the things that I've seen, I'm not going to allow my plans for growth to be hindered because of that. I will work with the Black people that I can work with, and then I will bring other groups of people on who get the mission. And I'm going to keep it moving just like that. And I think that, you know, I remember a couple of months ago, I kind of heard Meek Mill speaking about something similar. He was stating that that the older people, older Black people, whatever, that they were, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he was like, they was holding back information. And he was like, he was at a point where he was just going to work with other groups of people now who weren't opposed to giving the younger generation the information that they needed to get ahead. And I don't blame him, you know, until Black people can get to a point where they truly understand what community building is and what that should look like. Don't feel bad when you have to go outside the community and work with other people that get your mission, unfortunately, more so than the very people within your community who should get it. You know, so find like-minded Black people to work with, and when you can't find those like-minded Black people, don't feel bad when you have to go outside of the community to advance your goals and dreams. And again, these strongholds that we place on people within our own communities that we would never do to other communities. I think it's time that we begin to break those strongholds and those spiritual, those unseen spiritual chains that keep us bound to things that just don't serve our highest good. You know, some things are just not your responsibility, as as harsh as it may sound. Sometimes, as harsh as it may sound, yeah, it may be nice if you want to, you know, do some of these nice gestures and things. But once you start traveling down that road, people are going to hold you to it, and they won't ever let you get off. It's going to always be something. Somebody's going to always have a problem. So if you are a Black entrepreneur, you should very early, get used to giving those hard no's, because if you don't, it's never going to end. They're going to chain you to a set of expectations that they would never chain Mark to. They would never chain Jeff. They would never chain Elon. They would never do it, but they will do it to you. So it's a spiritual stronghold. It's just something that just needs to be broken. So with that, guys, that was my commentary for today. Definitely get in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about my commentary for today. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I will see you.